I don't know. This is a powerful statement that not everyone is willing to admit, not everyone is willing to claim, because we are largely living in a world where we have to know. We are expected to know. From a very young age, we are tested on what we know, what we've been taught, how well we are retaining information, how well our memory is functioning. This does not leave a lot of room for the mystery of existence in the cosmos. We are taught to seek an explanation and an understanding of just about everything. But for those who are on the so-called spiritual path, for those who are awakening, becoming more consciously aware, those old patterns and habits become more and more difficult. They often speak of unlearning much of what we've been taught. Which means that for a period of time there will be a lack of understanding, a serious lack. And the ego, the old mind, will fight with this. That desire to know will clash with the state of not knowing. Trying to understand most often brings misunderstanding. Because we find ourselves forcing an understanding. We find ourselves trying to grasp almost anything that could possibly be the answer. It's like in math, if we have a problem, how to get to the number 20. Well, you can add all kinds of numbers to get to the number 20. There's not just one way to do it. It's just a matter of the way you've been taught to do it. Whether you're doing it traditionally, whether you're doing it more in this Common Core math they're teaching lately. However you get there is simply a matter of getting there, is the point. It's not so much how you get there that's so important, but an understanding, trying to force this, trying to reach a conclusion, often brings a misunderstanding. And a misunderstanding will likely lead to ignorance, not understanding. A misunderstanding will likely lead to ignorance, because now we've tricked ourselves. We wanted to get to that point, that conclusion, so badly that we were willing to forego the whole process and just get to the conclusion. But even again in math class, a lot of the times the teacher wants to see your work. They want to see how you got to that conclusion. And so the process, maybe it's not as important as the answer, as the conclusion, but it does still serve a purpose. It does still have some importance. So making peace with not knowing is very powerful. Making peace with not knowing is different than misunderstanding, because there's been no attempt to understand. We're not trying to understand. We're simply allowing ourselves to be in that moment of not knowing. Maybe we will figure it out in the next 5 seconds. Maybe we will not figure it out until the next lifetime. It's really hard to say when it may happen. But at least for right now, we can make peace with simply not knowing. Because we do not need to know everything. It is okay, especially on an individual level. The individual ego cannot fully grasp everything. It's too much. From an individual perspective, it is simply too vast, too eternal. It's just one little individual trying to grasp the entire cosmos. We cannot even see the entire cosmos, much less grasp it with our divided mind. So making peace with not knowing is very important. Because when we're in that state, we finally realize and accepted that we do not know. Well, what can possibly happen from there? We will eventually know. Again, this is a matter of simply when it may happen. But there's no other way to go. If you already do not know, you cannot know anymore. You cannot know more deeply. You're simply already in the state that you do not know. So this will eventually lead to knowledge. True knowledge. Not a misunderstanding. Not trying to understand. Not ignorance. Not an individual truth. What you perceive as truth. It will lead to a cosmic, a universal truth. And this is a very important path to follow for those who are truly looking for wisdom. If you're simply looking for information, opinions, beliefs, then by all means continue to read all the books you want. Spend time on social media, watching videos, reading blogs. Do whatever you want. Think about it until your head hurts. But none of this is likely to lead to universal truth. It's more likely to lead to one of the other results. Misunderstanding. Ignorance. Individualized truth. And this is simply a perception, a very individual perception. Maybe it's true to us, but it is not true to the rest. Maybe a large part of the population believes it, but not everyone. And these types of things more so lead to the illusion of separation. Whereas the universal truths bring us back to a state of oneness. So not knowing leads us to that state of oneness, not to separation, because no one truly knows. No one.